Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 579 based on novel. So let's start. Countless people among the tens of thousands of cultivators died in the Pill Sea. Void Cloud's avatar was too close and was the first to die. No matter how powerful his sword intent was, when facing the explosion of the celestial pill, he was as fragile as a piece of paper. Under the collapse, the entire Pill Sea disappeared. The Green Devil continent lost over tens of thousands of cultivators. The rest could not escape this destructive force and were filled with despair when a huge shadow appeared. This shadow looked like a person, but it was impossible to see the person's appearance clearly. He waved his sleeve and enveloped the remaining Green Devil continent cultivators. As the destructive force closed in, the figure retreated again, barely avoiding the destructive force. Then the figure disappeared without a trace, but in truth they were still wounded. The Pill Sea became a void, and the land near the Pill Sea on the Heavenly Bull continent began to collapse. The impact kicked up a dust storm that would last for an unknown amount of time. The earth of the Green Devil continent also shattered. The shattered earth flew into the sky like clouds and spread far and wide. Fortunately, the celestial pill exploded at the center of the Pill Sea. If it was closer to the Heavenly Bull continent, it would have done serious damage to the land. From this, one could see how extraordinary and mysterious the origin of the celestial pill was. 3 days later, the destructive power of the explosion of the celestial pill finally weakened until it disappeared. However, the dust storm that enveloped the edges of the two continents still existed. On the Green Devil continent's side, after 3 days of silence, they didn't change their plan of entering the Heavenly Bull continent. The three main sects joined together and gathered disciples and elders to form a 70,000 cultivator army that marched toward the Heavenly Bull continent that no longer had a barrier. A portion of the cultivators that had reached the void turbulent stage broke off from the main army. Dozens of lights charged forward. They were the vanguard of this war. They were also a force that would play a great role in this war. Heavenly Bull continent, a mountain range close to the Pill Sea. The mountains here had collapsed. The sky was dark and covered in dust, making it gloomy. There was also the howling of wind. The wind sounded like screams of resentful souls, eerie enough to shake one's mind. In the mist, there was a collapsed mountain with a white-haired youth sitting inside. He was Wang Lin. At this moment, Wang Lin's face was deathly pale. He had spent the last 3 days recovering from his injuries. There were stains of dark red blood on the ground. He had coughed this blood out due to his injuries. The destructive power was within Wang Lin's expectations, but he was still hit by the aftershock. Although it had only swept by his body for an instant, at that moment, Wang Lin felt like he heard the sound of his bones breaking, flash shattering, and origin soul being destroyed. After he arrived here, he could no longer hold it in. He coughed out blood and quickly recovered. If it was an ordinary cultivator, if they didn't die, they would have had to find another body. However, with Wang Lin's ancient Dao body, he was only injured. On the evening of the third day, Wang Lin opened his eyes for the first time and took a few breaths. He frowned as the dust in the air made breathing bitter. He looked up at the sky. Although it was dusk, the dust made it impossible to see the sun or moon. It was worth it. Although I'm injured. When he said he wouldn't let me go before his death, it meant that he likely came with his avatar. However, that avatar is now completely dead. The death of the avatar will affect the original body. I just don't know how big the impact will be. It shouldn't be small. And I also obtained this. Wang Lin shook his head and his pale face turned slightly red. He then waved his hand and there was a flash of light. A compass appeared in his palm. This compass looked very ordinary and the map of the Pill Sea had disappeared from it. Instead, it was the area around Wang Lin right now. There was no light on it. This set of restrictions is mysterious, and after I devour it, my restriction essence will increase. However, it is still useful, so there is no rush to devour it. The reason Wang Lin dared to heal here was partially due to this restriction. Before he started healing, he set up the restriction here. He made it smaller, which made it even more powerful, and it only allowed people to leave rather than enter. My injuries have recovered 70% to 80%, so there shouldn't be any problems. Now that my water essence is complete, I need to return to the Great Soul Sect. I wonder if they got my jade. Looking at the time, it shouldn't have arrived, but the trembling of the Heavenly Bull continent 3 days ago should have attracted some attention. Wang Lin pondered as he stood up. His eyes shined as his left hand reached out and a jade appeared in his grasp. This jade looked very ordinary, but it contained a recording of Wang Lin entering the Pill Sea the second time, when he destroyed the 3 flags, stole the compass, cut the celestial pill, and killed Void Cloud. It recorded until Wang Lin left the Pill Sea. Wang Lin was not a young cultivator who didn't know anything. After joining the Great Soul Sect, he knew that merits were the main method to obtain treasures, pills, and cultivation methods from a sect. If he just told people, others would suspect or not believe him. The best method to prove himself was, of course, to record everything in a jade. As for whether it was real or fake, just looking at it would be enough. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin wiped away the scene of him obtaining the compass, leaving only him cutting the celestial pill. This was enough. With this, I can ask for the multi-layered illusion spell from esteemed Green Bull. Wang Lin put away the jade and compass. After removing the restriction, Wang Lin flew toward the depths of the Heavenly Bull continent. After flying more than 100,000 feet, ripples echoed and he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was far away from the Pill Sea, in the inner part of the Heavenly Bull continent. He didn't pause at all as he quickly flew ahead. Time slowly went by. In a flash, more than half a month had passed. Wang Lin was not far from the Great Soul Sect, but this was only from the view of using spatial bending. If one were to fly, they would still need several months. This was also deep within the Heavenly Bull continent. There were mountain ranges everywhere and green grass covering the land. This area hadn't been affected by the impact from the Pill Sea at all. After all, the Heavenly Bull continent was simply too large, and the area affected by the explosion in the Pill Sea was only a small part. During the intervals between spatial bending, Wang Lin would sit on the Mosquito King, who quickly flew forward. Aside from using spatial bending, he sat on the back of the Mosquito King and recovered. After more than half a month, he had recovered up to 80% or 90%. The remaining injuries were negligible. On this day, while Wang Lin was flying, he suddenly raised his head and his eyes narrowed. Before him, there were several flashes of ghostly light. There were black paper cranes inside these lights. These paper cranes flew off in different directions, and they were even faster than Wang Lin, disappearing in a flash. Fortunately, one passed by Wang Lin, and the moment it was about to disappear, Wang Lin used the stop spell to stop it a few hundred feet away. He waved his hand and it flew into his hand. His divine sense entered the paper crane and a powerful voice suddenly echoed in his mind. The Green Devil continent is invading. The Pill Sea has been destroyed and so has the barrier around the Heavenly Bull continent. Their army will arrive soon. The Great Soul Sect and the Gui Yi Sect are issuing the Soul Order. All sects are to seal their sects, and all combat-ready cultivators will gather at the 7 key points on the Heavenly Bull continent that were created countless years ago. Wang Lin loosened the paper crane and it disappeared in a flash without a trace. Wang Lin pondered as he looked at the sky before him and thought of a lot of things. After a long time, he frowned and no longer pondered all the strange thoughts that had appeared in his mind. He calmed down, sat on the back of the Mosquito King, and flew away. While Wang Lin was on his way back to the Great Sect, on the 20th day after the explosion, dozens of void turbulent cultivators from the Green Devil continent arrived as the advance team. Their goal was to consume the third step cultivators in the Heavenly Bull continent at all costs. The more they killed, the bigger the chance of victory. About 1 month behind them, the Green Devil continent army of 70,000 cultivators covered the sky and slowly advanced. Behind this army of 70,000 cultivators, there was a terrifying sword shadow slowly following with a terrifying sword intent. This was a golden ancient sword, and on top of the sword sat a young man in blue. His long hair was draped over his shoulder and he was almost demonically handsome. He was calm, but his face was a bit pale as he looked into the distant Heavenly Bull continent. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes. He has destroyed my avatar and forced my cultivation level to fall to early stage void turbulent. We will slowly deal with this grudge. The golden ancient sword under him gave off an extremely noble aura, and the shadow of a golden armored giant in imperial robes appeared behind the sword. This figure was incomparably large and gave off an ancient aura. This sword was extraordinary. Wang Lin was confused about one matter, the strange feeling he had when he saw the paper cranes. Whether it was the Green Devil continent or the Heavenly Bull continent, they all belonged to the Celestial clan. The sects of the two continents might have killed each other before, but to refine the pill seal to blast open another continent and invade made Wang Lin have other thoughts. This matter was no matter private grudges between sects, but real war. Interesting. I hope my speculation does not come true. Otherwise, the more people that die, the less connection I will feel with the Celestial clan. If it really is just for what I guess, then this really chills one's heart. Whether it's the Green Devil continent or the Heavenly Bull continent, perhaps, Wang Lin silently pondered as he sat on the back of the Mosquito King. He thought about a lot, about how the Great Soul sect had left him 3 gifts and how esteemed Great Bull had said that the first-generation ancestor had divinvated his arrival. There was a huge purpose in all of this. This purpose was very important for the Great Soul sect and the Green Devil continent. Therefore, the Green Devil continent launched countless smaller assaults on the Heavenly Bull continent. This time, they went big to refine the Pill C to blast their way inside to the Heavenly Bull continent. Therefore, countless years ago, the Great Soul sect moved here. The first ancestor of the Great Soul sect divinated the changes in the future, all for this long-hidden secret. Wang Lin silently pondered and opened his palm. A small person appeared in his hand and he looked at the little person. After a long time, he didn't use it to divinate the changes in the future but closed his palm to put it away. So what if I know in advance? With my Dao spell, I simply can't divinate it. The old ancestor left me 3 gifts and one of them was his own divination. I guess he knew I would question it and left me with an answer. Wang Lin smiled and he didn't use that gift. He didn't need to know how, and from clues, he found he had some speculations. Now he just needed to confirm them until he found the real answer. Wang Lin was good at this kind of thing, or he could ignore the war here and leave early. After 10 days, Wang Lin appeared outside the Great Soul sect. The moment he appeared, several rays of light flew toward him. Wang Lin felt that the Great Soul sect seemed to be in a haze and was shrouded in distortions. Bursts of killing intent that made his pupils shrink came from the distortions. This killing intent wasn't targeted at him, it was just part of the protection formation around the Great Soul sect. The distortion shrouded the sect, making it impossible to see inside. Wang Lin felt that the Great Soul sect was in battle mode. It was like a volcano that was about to erupt, and it was somewhat oppressive. This was just the feeling Wang Lin had when he saw this. It should be true, or it could just be an illusion. The rays of light closed in on Wang Lin. There was caution and killing intent within the rays of light. However, after this killing intent clearly saw Wang Lin, it slowly dissipated, but they were still on guard. Several rays of light turned into 7 people before Wang Lin. Among the 7 of them, there were 2 elders of the Great Soul sect, and the other 5 were disciples. Elder Wang, sorry to offend you. One of the elders had talked to Wang Lin once. He had observed Wang Lin and Yang Lu's battle. One of the elders clasped his hands and slowly said, "The Green Devil continent has broken open the barrier of my Heavenly Bull continent and the ancestor has ordered us to seal the sect. Everyone who returns, regardless of whether they are elders or disciples, or their status, must be rigorously inspected before entering the sect." The other elder also clasped his hands at Wang Lin. After they saw Wang Lin enter the 7th and 8th floors back to back, very few people in the Great Soul sect were willing to offend him. The 5 disciples beside the 2 of them bowed their heads. They would occasionally glance at Wang Lin. This was their first time meeting Wang Lin in person. No problem. It is a time of war, so it should be like this. Wang Lin nodded with a smile and didn't mind. Seeing Wang Lin smile, the 2 elders relaxed a bit. Unless they had to, they really didn't want to get on Wang Lin's bad side. If they had to get into an unpleasant situation due to an order from the sect, it really wasn't worth it. Seeing how easygoing Wang Lin was, the two of them also smiled and wanted even more to be friends with Wang Lin. Elder Wang, please take out your token. Then mark it with your divine sense to verify your origin soul and then drip a drop of blood to verify your body, one of the elders said as he clasped his hands. Wang Lin nodded and his right hand reached out at the void. The token he had used to enter the Soul Scripture Pavilion appeared. He marked it with his divine sense and then dripped a drop of blood it before throwing the token at the two elders. One of the elders grabbed the token, formed a seal, and then pointed at the restriction behind him. A powerful pressure surged out and charged at Wang Lin. It instantly swept through his body. Wang Lin's mind trembled. He clearly felt that this pressure was very strange. The main role was to expel any excess origin souls or divine senses on Wang Lin. It even judged how well adjusted his origin soul was to his body. These methods were used to judge his identity. Then the pressure locked onto the token. Only after doing the two-step verification did the pressure slowly disappear. It was only at this moment that the two elders relaxed completely. They returned the token to Wang Lin and one of them laughed. Elder Wang, sorry for the trouble. You can enter the restriction and return to the sect. We are still on duty, so we need to head back and can't accompany Elder Wang. I hope Elder Wang understands. If others were polite to him, then he would naturally be polite to them. He had become a grand scholar in the dream world, so he naturally had a mysterious temperament to him. He smiled and clasped his hands at the two. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly asked something. Did something happen in the sect recently? The two elders looked at each other. One of them whispered, 7 days ago, there was a Green Devil Continent cultivator trying to blend into the Great Soul sect. He was found by Elder Shudonda and was immediately killed. The old ancestor was very angry and then, at this point, the elder smiled bitterly and left after clasping his hands at Wang Lin. Wang Lin silently pondered and then flew into the Great Soul sect. The feeling of pressure became even more intense. The entire Great Soul sect was filled with rays of light as disciples flew between the various peaks. Some large refining materials that might be too large to put into storage spaces were being manually moved by cultivators between the various peaks. There were also large amounts of disciples on the several large herb mountains gathering herbs and delivering them to the several alchemy specialist elders to begin refining pills. There were various fluctuations of cultivation coming from the many mountains. It was clear that the elders were all in closed-door cultivation to keep themselves at their peak in order to complete the tasks the sect would hand out. All the peaks in the sect were bustling, beside Wang Lin's fire mountain, which didn't have any movement or sound. When he looked over, he saw Fan Shanmeng sitting motionlessly in her cave. Wang Lin pondered a bit and waved his sleeve. He didn't return to his own mountain but headed toward the depths of the sect, where old ancestor Green Bull was. Greetings, Elder Wang. Dao Burning Peak disciple greets Elder Wang. Brayaken Peak disciple greets Elder Wang. Along the way, all disciples that saw Wang Lin stopped to greet him before returning to their tasks. Wang Lin didn't stop, he simply nodded as he flew away. His cultivation was not ordinary, so it attracted the attention of the elders he flew past. However, after they saw that it was Wang Lin, they all withdrew their divine senses. Shortly after, the green heavenly peak appeared before Wang Lin. Wang Lin teleported and appeared outside the green heavenly peak. He clasped his hands toward the peak and spoke calmly. Wang Lin requests to greet esteemed Green Bull. The green heavenly peak looked different from before. It was now covered by a thin layer of green mist. After Wang Lin spoke, the mist moved, revealing an opening. Come in. Esteemed Green Bull's voice echoed. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to charge into the opening. After he entered, the mist covered up the opening. Wang Lin followed the mist and arrived at the green heavenly peak. There, he saw esteemed Green Bull sitting in the distance with a solid origin soul that looked like little person in his palm. This little person was kowtowing toward esteemed Green Bull. Wang Lin stood on the side and silently looked at the little person in esteemed Green Bull's palm. A moment later, the little person kowtowed 6 times in a row and looked tired. Esteemed Green Bull closed his palm and the little person disappeared. I have obtained your jade. This matter will be considered a merit. Esteemed Green Bull slowly opened his eyes and looked at Wang Lin with a smile. The Green Devil continent has had many small conflicts with my Green Bull continent, but this is the first time they do something so big. They actually found a way to refine the Pill C. This matter won't end in a short period of time. The Green Devil continent has 3 big sects and their ancestors are all at the same cultivation level as me. However, it is no problem. I alone can fight 2 of them. Esteemed Green Bull's eyes revealed a cold light. For him to take the initiative to say this, it meant that what he saw through the Soul Eye Dao was not good. Wang Lin's expression remained the same and he sat opposite of Esteemed Green Bull. He looked at Esteemed Green Bull and suddenly spoke. I want the multi-layered illusion in the 9th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Esteemed Green Bull's eyes narrowed and he silently pondered. The multi-layered illusion on the 9th floor was the Great Soul Sect's most powerful spell. Originally, it would be fine to pass it on to Wang Lin, but the first-generation ancestor had divinated that it would take Wang Lin 300 years to enter the 9th floor. While pondering, Esteemed Green Bull suddenly said, the Soul Scripture Pavilion has a 10th floor. Wang Lin remained calm, but his pupils shrank slightly. Not even I can enter the 10th floor. Only the first-generation ancestor could enter. That is where he passed away while sitting. After Esteemed Green Bull said this, he became silent once more. Wang Lin also silently pondered. He couldn't guess why Esteemed Green Bull was telling him this. After a long time, about 1 incense of time later, Esteemed Green Bull looking into the sky in the distance and spoke once more. Your merit isn't enough to obtain the complete multi-layered illusion spell on the 9th floor. Wang Lin raised his right hand and a jade appeared in his grasp. He handed it to Esteemed Green Bull. Adding this, is it enough? Esteemed Green Bull frowned and looked at Wang Lin. He took the jade and his divine sense entered it. His expression immediately changed. He looked up at Wang Lin before focusing on the jade once more. After seeing everything Wang Lin had done to cut the celestial pill, Esteemed Green Bull took a deep breath. He looked at Wang Lin with a mysterious light in his eyes. With his cultivation level, he could naturally judge that everything that he had seen in the jade was true. With what he managed to divinate and the secret reports he had received, he managed to clearly reconstruct what happened in the Pill C in his mind. Although Wang Lin was 80% to 90% healed, there was still that trace of injury that couldn't heal quickly. This all added up to make what was recorded in the jade authentic. Good, good, good. Esteemed Green Bull held the jade and began to laugh. He waved his left hand and a powerful surge of energy surged into Wang Lin's body. Popping sounds echoed and all of Wang Lin's remaining injuries recovered. This time, you have achieved a great merit. In my Great Soul Sect, as long as one achieves merit, they will be rewarded. I can give you the complete multi-layered illusion spell from the 9th floor. But you have to promise me something. Esteemed Green Bull looked at Wang Lin. The more he looked, the more he admired Wang Lin. The first-generation ancestor was really amazing to choose someone with such courage and guts. Wang Lin didn't feel any self-satisfaction from Esteemed Green Bull's words. He calmly looked at him and asked, what condition? Kill 10 Green Devil Continent early-stage Void Tribulent Cultivators and 3 Green Devil Continent mid-stage Void Tribulent Cultivators. Enter the 9th and 10th floors of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Once you have done these 3 things, you can leave the Great Soul Sect. With this, Wang Lin's heart trembled and he pondered. He indeed had thoughts of leaving on his way back. He was prepared to help the Great Soul Sect as much as he could before leaving to avoid the war. After all, his goals were the Donglin sect and the distant ancient Dao clan, so he couldn't stay in the Heavenly Bull continent for long. In addition, he had some speculations about this war, so he wasn't willing to get too involved. Esteemed Green Bull obviously thought about this but didn't force Wang Lin to stay. Instead, he set 3 conditions, and this reminded Wang Lin about the 3 gifts. After pondering for a long time, Wang Lin looked at Esteemed Green Bull and seriously nodded. No matter what the Great Soul Sect's goal was, they had indeed helped him, and Wang Lin would repay those who helped him. Now that he had agreed to these three conditions, and although they were difficult, Wang Lin determined that it was possible. Seeing Wang Lin nod, esteemed Green Bull smiled and no longer spoke. He waved his sleeve and an ancient jade flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin caught the jade. It contained the extremely powerful spell of the Great Soul Sect. The complete multi-layered illusion spell from the 9th floor. To cultivate this spell, you need to refine the ghostly sail. Now that the war has begun, I'll gift you all the materials. However, the ghostly sail requires a soul, and if you don't have a suitable one, you can go find one at the Ghost Peak. As esteemed Green Bull spoke, his hand reached out at the void and a ball of light appeared. The ball of light contained a lot of refining materials, and he handed it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin waved his sleeve and put the ball of light into his sleeve. He got up, clasped his hands at esteemed Green Bull, and left. You don't have much time. 7 days from now, I'll send you with a few other elders to guard one of the 7 meridians of the Heavenly Bull. Esteemed Green Bull's words echoed, but Wang Lin didn't turn around as he left the green Heavenly Peak. Wang Lin flew back to his own mountain. The fire inside seemed to have extinguished after he left, but it was still red. However, when Wang Lin landed on the mountain, it began to burn once more, and a faint rumble could be heard. Fan Shanmeng, who had her eyes closed, immediately opened her eyes and panicked a bit. She bit her lower lip and, seeing Wang Lin not calling her after a while, she felt uneasy. At this moment, Wang Lin had no time to bother with Fan Shanmeng. He arrived in his cave and sat down. A ball of light flew out from his sleeve, and after breaking open the ball of light, materials for refining the ghostly sail appeared in the cave. These materials were all different, but they were all extremely precious. After all, esteemed Green Bull had gifted them to him, so they were all of excellent quality. After looking at these materials, he took out the ancient jade containing the multi-layered illusion spell. His divine sense entered and he memorized all of its contents, including the method to refine the ghostly sail. According to the jade, the name of the ghostly sail was the Ghost Sail. It was divided into beginning, middle, upper, extreme, and absolute grade. Each grade corresponded to 2 layers of illusions. In the Great Soul Sect, most disciples only had beginning grade, and only elders could achieve middle grade. Some core disciples that were favored by their teacher might be given a middle grade ghostly sail to protect themselves. The ghostly sail Fan Shanmeng had was middle grade, and it was something Yang Lu had gifted her. Normally, a middle grade ghostly sail was already extremely powerful. If used properly, it could ignore cultivation. This was already proven in Fan Shanmeng's hands. If one could obtain an upper or extreme grade ghost sail to use along with the multi-layered illusion, then it would become terrifying. As for absolute grade, it was too difficult to refine. In the entire Great Soul Sect there was only one. This ghost sail was the sect protection formation around the Great Soul Sect. From Wang Lin's view, this formation wasn't even fully activated, and only a small part of its power was being used. He was able to clearly deduce this in his mind based on the information recorded in the jade and from his own speculations. The ghostly sail requires a soul to complete the refining process, but this soul doesn't need to be that of a cultivator, nor is one with a higher cultivation better. It needs a dead soul. Wang Lin frowned. This was the first time he had heard of the term, dead soul. The jade defined a dead soul as when a person or a beast died, but the right amount of obsession, unwillingness, or resentment remained to form an otherworldly existence that others couldn't see or feel. A bit more and it would become a useless resentful soul, but not enough meant that nothing can form. Therefore, one of these was very difficult to obtain. The Great Soul Sect had countless people studying dead souls, and they slowly found a method to refine them from a people or beasts right before their deaths. However, the dead souls refined from this method lacked the test of time, and no matter what cultivation level the person or beast was, the dead soul could only be used to refine beginning grade ghost sails, or at most middle grade. These dead souls could only withstand 3 or 4 layers of illusions. Any more and they would be unable to withstand it and collapse. This dead soul can be considered a will. Only a dead soul with a powerful will one that has been refined by time to become even stronger, can withstand more than 4 layers of illusions. The principle of the multi-layered illusion is obviously this will. This will is the nourishment to produce illusions to make people lose themselves. The stronger the will, the stronger the illusion. Wang Lin pondered as he slowly understood the structure of the multi-layered illusion. His eyes were filled with admiration. The tricks and intricacies of the spell were very difficult to figure out without seeing the complete spell. The person who created this spell must be an amazing genius. Wang Lin looked at the jade in his hand and let out a sigh. In truth, this technique was very easy to understand. Wang Lin remembered that when he was a child, before he became a cultivator, he would hear from adults in the village about which family's house was haunted. Oftentimes, the family would go to the nearby city to invite someone to dispel the ghost to calm themselves. He remembered that something like this had happened in his family too. He had originally forgotten, but learning the principle of the multi-layered illusion spell had brought that memory back. The so-called being haunted is mostly an illusion that allows someone to see some strange images and be immersed in it. As a result, the whole haunted situation occurs. This is to make one feel uneasy or irritated psychologically. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked at the jade in his hand. Only when he became a cultivator and looked back did he realize that the so-called haunting was just a natural sense of resentment that caught some people's hearts. This made them feel uneasy and disturbed, so they thought it was ghosts. This was the core of the multi-layered illusion. And the origin of illusions. The multi-layered illusion is so simple once seen through. What kind of illusion is this? This is clearly to turn a ghost into a person. It sounds easy, but to think of this method and turn it into a spell, even a Dao spell, deserves my respect. Wang Lin's eyes revealed enlightenment. This video will end here.